Thokozane, 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 thokozane. Nna ka lebitso ke Gogo Kinosi. Finyang insizwa kaLupota nakweliphupho. Uzalwa ngoMahlabahlaba insizwa kaLoganta. Gogo Mahlalekeni insizwa kaMasilela. And wazalwa ngoMagwazampini insizwa kaMatsane. Gogo Mhlemeni insizwa kaMkwena. Azalwa eMpandeni insizwa kaMgigi. Gogo Mkhwebane insizwa kaMgibe. Gogo Ntshobezinde insizwa kaMaphanga. Khona la lempande ngakhuliswa kuyo, ngayiphuza ngayiphalaza emzini kayise wami. Ilanga libalele, amadoda nabafazi bangibhekile bathi ikutshwana liyafa, athi lelo kutshwana lizofa, lizolanda ubukhosi balo. Thokozane, thokozane, thokozane amakhosi amakhulu, thokozane ninazindlondlo, thokozane amagedla, ka le dumedisa dingaka, kganya lesedi, takalane, thabang, modimo wa kgotso le kganya, wa lerato le tse ntle, modimo wa tsona tsohle a be le lona, a le boloke, a mpoloke le lona, le nna jwala ka mpolokile. Thokozane, ke a leboha. Ke tlile mona particularly ke na le thumo, nginesithunywa esingithumile la. I have a send. The sender is the sender, and the sender will reveal itself as the sender. But me, I am what President Cyril Ramaphosa says, thuma mina, thuma mina, thuma mina. Mangifika lana ngizofika ngithandaze. Namhlanje nekere ke fihla mona ke tlo latela ditaelo. I think that's one ntho tse ding tse ntle ke di rata, ke di nka jwala ka taelo. When the Parliament of South Africa said for the first time this year, I really sat attentively, and the Speaker of Parliament started with saying that it is a prayer, medication and meditation. So it's the prayer and medication and meditation. So I've been medicating myself. So I've medicated myself. So this is what I have from the meditation that I followed through. Something happened on that day, which it brings me back to doing this video. Just to just get to the intent of this video. I really, it's twofold. Well, I'm a capitalist niggers, right? So I never do things unless there's something in it for me. So I just need to put that out there so that people don't mistake me for anything else. So really, I'm doing this video really because I want to pitch for a certain job, right? The youth of South Africa, the millennium of South Africa, with their various institutions of governance and cooperation, whether being in the private sector, whether being in civil service, universities, institutions of higher learning, whether being in fora of religion and spiritual inclined gatherings, have for quite some time been very romantically saying to the government of the day that it is time that we rename our nation, we rename our country. In today's terms, we call it's time for us to do some rebranding exercise, right? We are people with a certain identity. We are people that comes from somewhere, right? And we come from faraway lands. We are both foreigners and landowners of this place, and we are an identified people. And our identity has been evolving over time in the last century to where it has found itself today. So I think it is of utmost importance and utmost an imperative, like something that we have to jump on board very quickly, is the rebranding and renaming of this nation. For obviously for some silly reasons, if you look at them in those terms, when people say that We are tired of being called a GPS in the global system. We are not just a GPS in the global system, right? We are not just a global GPS system, right? Global positioning system in the world. We are a people with an identity that we respect, with a history that we respect, with a humanity that we respect, with traditions that we respect, with ways of being that we respect, with ways of doing things that we respect. And it's time that that is reflected in how we call ourselves, right? I'm quite exhausted with calling myself a South African. I'm not just a South African. I'm really to call me a South African is to deny my history. Is to deny my history, and to deny me of all the other places where my ancestors have been, and just say I'm a South African. I'm just from a small part of that Africa. I'm not just from a small part of that Africa. I was born free in that small part of that Africa, but my ancestors come from faraway lands. From here in Lesotho, where they come from Botswana, from KwaZulu Natal, from the Xhosas, from the Wakandans, Bamandevele, and the rest of Africa. I am a cocktail of faraway lands born in this nation, and this nation for me is not just a nation of a GPS. I'm just gonna call it that. I don't want to sound very insulting. I was listening to a song by Beyonce that says, "I'm a train wreck in the morning and a bitch in the afternoon." So I don't want to sound bitchy. So we'll just call it that, right? I'm an identity that is complex. I'm a very complex identity. Yet the simplicity of it is that I am of this land. I am of this land. I'm of the people of this land. I'm of the origins of this land. I come from this land. I really, it's for me, this call or this invitation is not just even a flimsy little call, right? It's a call. That's why I said it's a call from the sender, whose identity it shall reveal itself to those that it has sent me to. In it I find love, in it I find peace, and in it I find my unified identity. When I introduced myself in this video, I said I'm Gogo Kinosi Fenyan, right? And really what I call this rebranding is a phenomenon that I think happened in our recent history that we missed. And it's okay. I suppose we're not all supposed to see it, but just be a part of it. But this history that we saw was what is happening in Parliament with Julius Malema and the land expropriation without compensation as the most single-handedly one tool we have as a nation in order to heal its people, which is the reappropriation, which by itself, from a mental gymnastics point of view, is an exercise of saying, yes, we have decolonized this land. Without that reality in the minds of these people, of our people that we call our people. I don't have people. Now I'm single, guys. Secondly, So I don't have people. I have parents, I have family, and I have everything that is God's creation that I love, and I'm part of that, right? So without us really fixing that land issue, we are constantly going to be on a roller coaster of what I call, and I'm going to call it the insanity of humanity, right? Of constantly being at war with itself, with each other, with very little cooperation, right? Now, the reason why I'm asking that we change the name of this nation is because by the very nature of this land, it changed itself. It's already rewired its DNA. It's already rewired its DNA, its GPS. It's already launched itself in the entire world. It has told the entire world who it is. Now, the entire world now needs to know where they need to go for this place that they need to go to, that this land has done. In 2008, when Jacob Zuma, our president, I don't know if it was, he was just before he was becoming the president or just after he became the president, when he said, the ANC shall rule until the second coming of Christ, right? Obviously, it was met with really a rainbow of reactions from myself included. Mine completely far away from what people called blasphemous or disrespect to Christ or whatever. No. I was quite okay with Jacob Zuma saying that because he knew what he was saying. He knew what he was saying. In 2008, at the cradle of humankind, right, a 13-year-old boy, he was a boy at the time, not a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old boy, right, stumbled on the new title deed of this land I'm talking about. I don't want to say the title deed of South Africa because South Africa has not recognized it as such. But this name or this orientation or this rebranding of this nation that I'm proposing recognizes that as the title deed change of this land. That's when it happened. When the remains of Homo erectus Karabo were found at the cradle of humankind, and that grave changed the DNA of the identity of this land. And that 5 years later, in 2013, the year Julius Malema started the Economic Freedom Front, another grave was opened, which was a mass grave. That mass grave was called Homo Naledi in 2013, which happened in 2013 into 2014. That happened now in the last 10 years. That's when Homo Naledi was found. 10 years ago, when the grave of Homo Naledi was found. Religiously, I am certain somewhere in the Bible it says, in the last days, the dead shall rise from the graves. And I was like, to people, I've been saying to people, but the dead have risen. Homo erectus Karabo and Homo Naledi. The DNA of colonization was changed. That year, when Homo Naledi was excavated and later given the title deed of 1.8 to 2 million years, a 13-year-old boy with his 29-year-old mom, Naledi. I worked on a concert that was called Vugasizwe in celebration of the life of Sarah Baartman, The day that concert was broadcast at the Constitutional Hill in Johannesburg, South Africa, that same night when it was broadcast live was the same night that Mama Africa Miriam Makeba got off stage for the last time and went and took her last breath in Europe on that same night. The DNA of this land was changed. There's a department in government called Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, COGTA. I would like to apply for a job. Let me give myself a title and say brand orientation strategist. To take that name and put the traditional affairs in front and say the land now is traditional affairs and cooperative governance. We've been struggling with ESCOM. I just want to give you an example of what I mean when I say traditional affairs and cooperative governance. We've been struggling with ESCOM for quite some time, and ESCOM has been sitting with Parliament in the time we've been struggling with ESCOM. For years, it's been sitting in Parliament, the Parliament that we voted in to govern and to govern cooperatively and solve our social problems and problems of common cause, right? We've done that. We've given them jurisdiction to do that. They've been empowered by the law, and they've been financed by our taxes, right? By our contribution to the tax. In however way that we contribute, everyone has been contributing to this house. It's not just people that have jobs, they're employed, that have been contributing. Us, the unemployed too, have been contributing to that tax. I went to ESCOM last year before around November or December sometime. After we've been complaining about electricity with them, we've been at war with ESCOM with my grandmother for some time. And we've been having problems. Problems. Like the rest of the country. And we pay. We pay by the unit. We pay ESCOM. When I went to ESCOM last year, I asked the security guys, I said, guys, I am really tired of coming here all the time. Now, to go and then, and Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, then woke up with a resolution to give us the Ministry of Electricity away from Parliament. Because in as much as the government is going to be blamed for the mess that we're in, I think it's time we look at the Parliament of today and ask ourselves who exactly are they listening to? Because right here on the ground, we've been asking them to solve problems and actually aid government in legislature and all support work for them to do so, but they have not done so. But all that they've done is fight with each other for some interest or the other, and really at the cost of our livelihood and our democracy. Under this new orientation of traditional affairs and cooperative governance, I think it is time that without fail or favor, really restore the dignity of Amakhosi wethu. Amakhosi wethu, to the management or to the ownership, in name and principle, however way you look at it, of this land, and government to the administration of this land. Because government, no political party should ever be entitled to think that it rules over its people. The name that I propose in closing for us to start with, at least in thinking about what it is that I'm saying, when I say traditional affairs and cooperative governance. I call it my 4664 name of the land on which I'm sitting today. That name, I call it the Azania of Alkebulan. The Azania of Alkebulan. I'm tired of calling myself a South African. I want to call myself an Azanian of Alkebulan. Thokozani, 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 Thokozani. My name is Gogokinosi Fenyang, aka Karabo Mpo Matthews Dipopo Walibota, aka Homo erectus Karabo, aka Karabo Moroka, aka Matabelo Koza. Thokozani, Thokozani, aka T'Challa, aka Mbao, Mbaku. Thokozani, Thokozani, Thokozani. And I hope this is sufficient video for us to start the conversation of how we are going to rebrand and reorientate our nation to what it is. A nation of beginners, a nation of initiators, a nation of healers, a nation of geniuses, a nation of people who are orientated to come and heal the world again and to come and re-educate the world in the ways of the land, in the ways of the waters, in the ways of the air, in the ways of the fire, in the ways of life. Thokozani Mango.